Well, today is the day. President Trump says he's going to wipe out a whole civilization. And when I saw that post this morning, I started to wonder if that was going to use the weapon we've been discussing on this show, this new weapon that's been under development for some time. It won't be old tech. I can't imagine they're going to drop a nuke out of the sky. I think it's going to be something new. I think Trump's going to want to be remembered for some newfangled technology that his friends in Silicon Valley have been developing. And getting involved in Iran was their excuse to get to use it. Kind of like getting involved in Venezuela and kidnapping Maduro was their way to use the discombobulator. You know, we saw in some of the Epstein files that maybe even Maduro was part of the plan, perhaps a plant, a CIA asset. Nothing would surprise me anymore, right? Would it surprise you? That's pretty much how I feel about it too. But not only has that been happening, but while I was on the road last night, I just want to make sure my co-host is in the frame. Are you good? Yeah, we're good. Is that Tim Burchett is now saying 100% we are in contact with aliens. Other people are starting to talk about alien technology. And is that alien technology that we've been using allegedly going to be used tonight? So tonight, what is this? April 7th. People are assuming there's a deadline. Trump has hinted at an 8 p.m. deadline. It seems like Iran has pulled out talks. And this is where this is the parapolitical. This is the marriage of the paranormal with the political. Obviously, there's been many intersections with those two over the years. Whether it's Eisenhower making alleged treaties with aliens to let them kidnap you up until a certain point, the MJ-12 stuff. But it seems like now, as the narrative has been turning into humans being in contact with interdimensional beings, Anna Paulina Luna talking about interdimensional beings, Rhett Burleson going out there and looking at UFOs, allegedly, Matt Gaetz talking about alien hybrid breeding programs where they are supposedly kidnapping women and breeding with them. Sounds like Epstein to me. But now as we get into this conversation of alien tech and what that might mean, to me, that means ancient breakaway civilizations that that certain people in our society today have inherited their technology from and have been like reverse engineering it or attempting to rebuild it this whole time. But what is going to be deployed tonight, if it happens? You know, by the time you're watching this, it's going to be 10 o'clock at night Eastern time, and perhaps something has already happened that will shock society. But it also, nothing could happen. But this is where the conversation is. But before we get to all that, I want to tell you guys that yesterday I saw the ghost of Jerry Garcia driving an RV through a Buc-ee's parking lot. I swear to you, I'm not a Grateful Dead fan. I honestly, if you played me a Grateful Dead song, I wouldn't know. I don't think I've ever listened to more than 20 seconds of Grateful Dead. I have really good friends who love the Grateful Dead, and I have never been able to get into it. But I know what Jerry Garcia looks like. Also, they're very, very much CIA connected and MK Ultra connected, and I think there's a reason they put them in the sphere. You know, the sphere is another thing. It looks like I've interviewed people. I wish I could put it on record. I wish they would go on record, but they won't allow me to yet. I have talked to people I've met on a play date, and sometimes I'm like, is this organic? Is your kid really friends with my kid, or have you been put here to tell me that you have studied psyops within the military? But from this conversation, if this person's even real, if you're listening, they told me, I know they're in the Army, but they told me that the Army studies psyops using the sphere, and that they have been sent there to understand how the sphere works on perception, how it works on all the senses. And to me, I'm just like, so you're looking at MK Ultra still. Great. But yeah, there's a long history between Jerry Garcia acid. You guys know the whole deal. The counterculture and how they were using all that music. Some of it was really good. I just never really got into the Dead. Sorry, John Mayer. I know he's like obsessed with them. You guys hear that bird? That's a fake one. They got him down here too. But I was at Buc-ee's, and it just was like such a perfect reflection of where America's at. I always liked the idea of Buc-ee's, even though going there in this economic climate going to Buc-ee's is fiscally irresponsible. Diesel's insane. I was just thinking about the truckers who are commuting across this country, bringing everyone their goods, and it is over $5. You know, when I was a kid and we take that road trip from New York to Florida, which we did quite often, we would watch the gas prices drop from state to state the more southern we got. I remember at one point in Georgia, it was like, I remember seeing 79 cents. I know this is like in 1915. No, this is like 1989, 1990, early 90s when I was a kid. But now the gas prices are pretty much the same everywhere, and they are astronomical. And then the MAGA loyalists will tell you that it has nothing to do with the war. Not at all. And like what I said the other night, what happened? I thought we were getting all this oil from Venezuela. That hasn't seemed to do anything to the gas prices. But I'm at Buc-ee's. I'm just like, this place is so fascinating. They have about 1,000 registers and maybe 4 are open. Maybe 4. So the lines are out the door. Obese people buying fudge. There's people yelling about brisket sandwiches. It was quite something. I always liked the idea of Buc-ee's. And this was one in Virginia. It's like a new one. So maybe this was a little more of a panic attack for everybody there. This bright lit, like 24/7 car wreck of gas station culture, which I tend to like. You know, there's a long time in my life where the only things I could really afford were tuna sandwiches from gas stations, and I ate a lot of those in parking lots. Probably didn't do a lot of good to my immune system. Actually, might have made it a little better. But I like to consider myself someone who, you know, is a gas station connoisseur, and I love road trips for many reasons, that being one. And when I first went to Buc-ee's in Texas, I thought this should be a national landmark. I didn't even like anything there. You know, nothing there is really that healthy. But I like the idea of it. It's like Disney World for gas stations. And I'm a Sheetz guy now that I'm in West Virginia. I'm also a Wawa guy, having grown up in New York, and we're so close to Jersey, despite my feelings towards Jersey. Sorry, my friends out there in Jersey. You do have the greatest hardcore scene. I know people in New York and Connecticut and Massachusetts want to fight me on that, but New Jersey, that's where Hellfest went down. But Wawa is a great gas station. I love Sheetz and Wawa, Fuji's and Funyuns. But when I saw Buc-ee's for the first time in Texas, I thought people should visit this as much as they visit, like where JFK was assassinated. It's just such a monument. People are out there taking pictures with the Buc-ee's beaver like it's Buddha. I mean, they're rubbing its head. It's weird. It's creepy. It seems like a false god type situation. Perfect for the end of America. That, you know, the busiest place is this Buc-ee's. But the bathrooms are surprisingly clean. But yeah, I swear to you, I saw the ghost of Jerry Garcia driving an RV through the parking lot at Buc-ee's. It stopped me in my tracks. But I don't know. Are you Buc-ee's fans? Please let me know in the chat below. Are we Buc-ee's people here? Are we Wawa? Are we Sheetz? Or maybe you got stuff out west I don't know about. I haven't done too much road tripping out west. I've done a lot of California. But I don't remember seeing any gas stations that really piqued my interest. The thing about the Civil War is that the North allegedly won, but I think no one won, and that we all became slaves after the Civil War. But if we want to just look at it at the surface level, and say that the North won, the funny thing is that the South, in the long run, won the gas station game, because New York has no gas station game. Only recently have they been trying to make it better. Do you agree with that? This horse knows New York and the South quite well. But imagine at some point you disagree and the horse takes off. That could happen at any minute. But watch the ears. If the ears pin back, that's when I've said something that they don't like, and they will take off. and that'll be good for the show. But New York has terrible gas stations. Anyway, that's enough about gas stations. I love road trips. So, where do we want to start this wonderful conversation tonight? I am out here in the lovely state of South Carolina, and it is beautiful out. The kids are happy. And Trump says that by 8 o'clock tonight, he's going to wipe out a whole civilization. Just another day in 2026. Thank you guys for being here, for tuning in. Please comment below, like, and if you haven't subscribed, do so. All that really does help the channel, and we appreciate it. So I saw this on my birthday, which was yesterday. Thank you guys for all the birthday wishes. It was trying to say something. This is Buttons, by the way. You can say hi to Buttons. Intelligent alien life is out there, and its technology could destroy us in a microsecond, says the New York Post, according to researchers. Who are these researchers? And isn't it interesting that a story like this is finding its way into the collective consciousness the night before Trump is saying he's going to... Those are his words. Wipe out a whole, I'm sure by now you've all seen it, but alien experts, what does that even mean? I am an alien. As a space lawyer, I'm an alien expert. Alien expert is also like immigration law. Alien experts claim extraterrestrial life exists in the universe, which is beyond the control of any government and could wipe out life on Earth. Following Tennessee Rep. Tim Burchett's revelation last week that Americans would be up at night worrying if they were privy to the things he has been briefed about UFOs. Do you believe these briefings, everybody? Prominent researchers on the subject claim the government is keeping secrets for a reason. Extraterrestrials have the technology and power to overcome our technology and power. Okay, he used power twice in that sentence. This is your first alien expert of the night, Dr. Don Donderi. I don't even trust that name. If you've got your name twice in your name, I don't trust it. And if there's 1, 2, 3, 4 D's in your name, I definitely don't trust it. Sorry, Dr. Don Donderi. Quadruple D, a retired McGill University professor and longtime researcher into UFO phenomena, he told the Post. The informed public knows that UFOs exist, that UFOs are advanced machines we don't know how to make, and that they're operated by intelligence that are superior technically, added Donderi, who is also a psychologist who studied human perception as well as an author of 2 books about extraterrestrials. He claimed his lifelong research suggests alien technology is so advanced it could annihilate the human race in a microsecond and warned humanity has no defense. I want to point out that this is very similar to the case that was being made in the lawsuit against CERN being turned on. Remember CERN? That was before your time. CERN, in I think it was 2008, the two physicists were suing CERN, saying if they turned it on, the particle collider, the Large Hadron Collider, it would, in a microsecond, I don't think they used microsecond, but they said it would be instantly destroying Earth. And they gave a few scenarios, one being it would be sucked into a black hole. The other was that it would turn the Earth into a sphere of strangeness by like a singular pole emerging from this fabricated Big Bang as beneath France through the Large Hadron Collider, and then turning everything to the sphere of strangeness, which would basically be like a cosmic soup. Which makes you think then, is CERN also the reverse engineering of, you could say, alien tech, or like what I would say, ancient breakaway civilization, advanced ancient civilizations. So I think it's possible. The latter for me. But for you, you're welcome to leave a comment below about what you think about all this technology talk. Because AI is also in the news, and we might get to that too. Sam Altman talking about it. And there's also a big story out there from Ronan Farrow about Sam Altman. We might not get today because I haven't had a chance to read it, and it's huge. I'm not the biggest Ronan Farrow fan because I think he's done a lot of stories that were based in falsehoods, and now I have to confront my own confirmation bias when he writes a story that's negative towards Sam Altman, whom I don't like, but you have to take it with a grain of salt. Who wrote it? What's their past like? He could be right, he could be wrong. Do your own research and read it, but it's a big story, and I want to get to that, but we may or may not get to that today. It depends on my co-host. How are you doing? That's good. His findings are based on a mix of scientific analysis, eyewitness testimony, and government-related data he has researched and collected over decades, according to Dandera. Earlier this year, former U.S. President Barack Obama caused a stir when he appeared to confirm the existence of aliens during an interview with No Lie podcast host Brian Tyler Cohen. 3 names. Assassins have 3 names. Most government ops got 3 names in them. Lee Harvey Oswald, After he was asked, are aliens real? Obama said, they're real, but I haven't seen them. Also, sometimes they have the same name twice. Sirhan Sirhan. RFK Jr. does not believe Sirhan Sirhan killed his dad, and points to a lot of evidence as to why they think that. I think it's the case that Sirhan Sirhan did not kill him, but they always got weird names. But then you'd be like, your name's weird. I know. Cashman is a weird name, and everyone's like, that is the most Jewish-sounding name. And it's actually Irish, oddly enough. And the other thing that's really hilarious is that I have no cash. My whole life. What a joke. Things made... Do you hear that banshee? Is that a banshee or a siren out here in this wilderness? Not a lot of people made fun of me for being poor, because most of us were poor. But you think they would use that more often. Cashman having no cash. Mostly it was about my freckles, which I tried to get rid of. Never really worked. They said lemon juice. I can tell you, if anyone out there has freckles and are trying to get rid of them, just don't. Just accept your freckles, and rubbing lemon juice on your face will not work. I was like 6 or 7. I thought, this is ridiculous. Why do I look like this? I look like an Appaloosa, and I couldn't get rid of them. They're not being kept at Area 51, Obama said, and he later clarified he believes alien exists, but saw no evidence during my presidency. I don't believe anything he says. I don't believe anything any of these presidents say. Shortly after his statement, President Trump announced his administration was starting the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life. I'm trying to see if I can pick up that sound. At any minute, I might get swept away by a banshee. If I do that, just leave a like, and maybe I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know if they're real or not, Trump told reporters when asked about aliens, but I have met serious people that say there's some really strange things that they see flying around out there. A series of high-profile congressional hearings into UFOs, now officially referred to as unidentified anomalous phenomena, were held in 2023 and 2024 in response to national security concerns and mounting pressure for transparency. During the hearings, former military and intelligence officials testified the U.S. government has recovered unidentified flying aircraft and may be operating secret reverse engineering programs to improve our own weapons capabilities, though hard evidence of extraterrestrial origin has not been publicly confirmed. Government officials opened their mouths a little bit about what they knew, but not much. They haven't gone deep into it, Dandera said. Pentagon officials acknowledged that hundreds of UAP... Oh, you stinker, this phone. I'm even more low-tech than usual, as you can tell. My phone refreshed. But they haven't gone deep into it, Dandera said. Pentagon officials acknowledged that hundreds of UAP encounters have been recorded by military pilots and sensors, but while many remain unexplained, if it found there is no verifiable evidence of alien spacecraft. Again, a lot of these government reports like to point to only encounters with UFOs that happen around military airspace, military bases. I don't think it's since like Project Bluebeam we've had like a outward collection being shared from eyewitnesses that are civilians. And maybe whistleblowers, but most of the whistleblowers we get today at congressional hearings are also military, which makes them suspicious to me. Burchett, a member of the House Task Force on the declassification of federal secrets, claimed, what a funny name for a hearing, for a task force, by the way. Federal secrets. That's just that job is forever then. That is an infinite job and it will never be done. Everything they do is a secret. But he claimed he was briefed just 2 weeks ago on an issue about extraterrestrial life that would have set the Earth on fire and unglued the country if it were made public, but said he still supports full disclosure of the information. And you know my feelings about this. I think that's how we were about to get with the Epstein situation. I think society was becoming unglued. And it was in the real world. I hear the argument, it's just Twitter. You got Twitter brain. You're terminally online, and that's probably true. But I also spent a lot of time in the real world. Like I said earlier, I'm on play dates a lot. This horse can confirm there's all that. I think he's got an itch. He was rubbing his nose on the chair. You okay? You want me to itch it for you? Let's see here. Good horse. It's real. I can affirm that this is a real horse. Right? Have you met fake horses before? Yeah. No, there's definitely fake horses. I've seen like two guys in a horse suit, but there's definitely robot horses. I haven't personally seen a robot horse, but we were just talking about robot centaurs in China. Right? But this horse is getting nice and old. You can tell by all the gray coming out. It's a beautiful horse. This horse has been very good to my family. And I'm happy to spend some time out here with this one. My kids love this horse. Anyway, you're going to have to get a horse when the aliens shut down all the cars and you can't afford gas anymore. Highly recommend a horse. Thankfully, despite having the last name Cashman and having not much cash, we've always had a horse or two in my family. Not my my parents, but not us. Not yet. I do, at some point, would like to get to a place where my doomsday bunker is bigger, and I have a few horses and some cows and some goats because I like goat milk. I like raw goat milk. It doesn't taste any different. I know everyone's like, that sounds disgusting. It's really not. I'm about 10 years deep now and pretty much only drinking raw milk. Very rarely if I'm traveling, but even now we brought the raw milk with us because we're crazy people. Burchett, so do you guys, I'm just curious, this whole thing with the aliens now, and he's saying what he was briefed about. To me, it sounded like what Bongino was saying. The things I've seen, the FBI, they'll never sleep again. Like, all right, dude. We were all becoming undone. I was having conversations in the real world with people who I believe are not as terminally online as myself and not as mentally diseased. But they were very much concerned with Epstein and the files and the things that they were seeing, and that the files were reaching everywhere, And a lot of these people, like I said, on play dates, the kids are seeing other kids, and it's just good. You want your kids to go out there and socialize, but don't put them in public schools if you can manage it. I know it's tough, but everyone was talking about it, and a lot of these people, they don't know what I do. Like, I don't show up with a shirt that says like I do a show talking about the Epstein files. Some of them are old friends, and they do know, and so they come to me and we talk about it. But a lot of these people I just meet, they don't know what I'm doing. And I don't bring it up. I'm not like, I don't show up to the party all the time. Unless it's like clouds. If it's clouds, we'll get into that quickly. I just need to know what kind of friends that my kids have. And if they're coming from a big pro-cloud family, it's best we step away. Mostly religion comes up fairly quickly, but most of the people we're friends with in West Virginia are churchgoers. And we've met at church or at functions that are church adjacent. You don't know what I'm talking about. You haven't been there. Don't shake your head at me, horse. Horses have attitudes. I don't know if you guys have any horse friends, but they can be a little sour sometimes. But with Burchett saying this now, which is kind of funny because we pulled up the footage of him when the Epstein files came out, or right before they came out. He was demanding the release of the files, and I'm like, that's great. Let's do it. So interesting how they all pivot. And now most of these people who are gung-ho on the Epstein files, every one of them is talking in the political realm, every one of them is talking about how we have to tell you about alien tech, all this stuff. Where are you going? No. You stay here. Stay here with me. If you walk off, then my chair will fall down because we're connected. That's not totally true, but can you say hi? All right, just get you back in frame. Back up. He did just eat, don't worry. And he had water for my friends out there who might be from PETA. Hopefully you don't support PETA because they're not really that great for animals. They've killed a lot of animals. They're not very animal friendly, despite how psychotic they behave. But anyway, now all these people have pivoted and like, we're going to talk about only aliens. And I'm like, I think the conversation should have been about Epstein, and we should have kept talking about Epstein. But I want to hear what you have to say about the aliens. I want to hear what you have to say about the UFOs. Let's see what the files say. Let's see all that stuff. But I think it's time that we actually hold some people accountable. And these people I'm talking about that need to be held accountable are cannibal pedophiles. Like, why have we just forgotten this? That's why we had this war. All right, do you want to get loose? Do you want to go? Should I let you go? Do you want to say goodbye? You want to say what you want to say? It's up to you. Old grumpy horse. So I'm just so curious what you guys think about these stories now. They're all coming out. Gates, Burchett, Anaplana Luna. Everyone's saying they've been briefed. Who's briefing them? Just because they're in an army uniform doesn't mean they should be taken seriously. I love our soldiers. I grew up next to a military base. I have deep respect for them. That said, I have firsthand knowledge of seeing how the military can treat their people, and it's like crap. Even the civilians, because growing up in a town like Highland Falls, right next to a town like West Point being the home of the United States Military Academy, a lot of our civilian friends work there too, and everyone's treated like crap. I mean, a lot of people love their job there, and a lot of great people I know have worked there for decades, but they do not care about you, and I have seen them treat my friends and family horribly. I'm gonna let you go, okay? You're free to go. The lead shank was on my chair, but we've detached. We're no longer tethered together. So go get yourself some hay, okay? But don't put your back legs by me, because I've been kicked before, and it's not fun. I've been kicked right here by a horse named Taco, and it hurt. I was about 12, and I had a hoof print on my chest. Like 4 or 5 months, at least. It stunk. But is it not fascinating to you guys? I mean, are you buying it? Is this where we're heading? Is this inevitable that we're now going to be forced to accept this reality that the government's been in cahoots with extraterrestrials, and that we have to believe extraterrestrials are what they say they are? After, just 6 years ago, we learned how awful. I mean, if you didn't already know, a lot of people came to the idea that, wow, okay, I've been lied to about everything. Now they want me to take this therapeutic. They didn't call it a therapeutic then. They want me to take this warp speed vaccine, and it's going to save me from this silly flu that they've rebranded into COVID. Remember, it's always about rebranding. And that's since from Greek into Rome. We could talk about Gilgamesh, Homer, Shakespeare, the mythologies. Everything's always being rebranded into something else. And why is that relevant to this conversation about we've been talking about space, extraterrestrials, technology? What did those gods from Greece to Rome get rebranded into? Planets. Which is the only planet not named after one of those gods? Lowercase g gods. That's right, it is Earth. It is such a strange time to be alive, but it's a great time to have this show, because it really this helps me kind of organize my thoughts about all this stuff, and I appreciate everyone always hitting me up and telling me new ideas, new things to look at, sending me links. So please do that. You can leave them in the chat below, leave them in the comments, or hit me up, send me a DM. And for the people who are missing the callers this week, I am sorry. It's going to be a little tough. The episodes might not be as long because I have an appointment to go see some baby goats pretty soon. Oh man, that's fun. The horses rolling around in the dirt. This is a private moment, though. I was going to share it for a sec, but this is just like pure joy that this horse is having in the sunlight, in the dirt next to me. That's all you wanted to do, huh? Oh, it's amazing. You can just chill there. I won't bother you. I'm not going to make you go on camera again. No, he's up. Shit, did you hear that? That's a happy horse. That's a happy horse. All his friends are eating hay up there. I had him down here. It won't surprise me if the other horses do join us at some point. Anyway, Sean Kirkpatrick, a former director of the Pentagon's UFO investigation office, told the Post he has zero respect for Burchett's playhouse politics and dramatization in response to the lawmaker's comments made to Newsmax. There's a reason he was denied access to programs by House Intelligence and military committees. I worked in all of those agencies and haven't slept well in decades. The things that are concerning are adversary actions, intentions, and capabilities, not aliens. Kirkpatrick was referring to his previous claims a group of religious UFO conspiracists inside the U.S. government had duped and bamboozled congressional leaders like Burchett with fake stories about aliens in order to get taxpayer resources for their paranormal crusades. It's a pretty good paragraph, New York Post. I gotta say, it's a pretty good paragraph. We covered that a while ago. That's from February of last year. We'll do a quick little detour just to refresh your memories, but Sean Kirkpatrick, who I don't trust this person either. Just because he says things that kind of sound like what I say, he's not going to be like, well, this is where I get it from. I'm telling you just like, I'm giving you my intuition here. And I've read a lot of stuff from all different types of people who think different things. Many of them disagree with each other. That's fine. The horse is now rubbing his side against the wire fence safely. And this horse is just having a great time. February 7th, 2024, New York Post. Sean Kirkpatrick, the director of the Pentagon's UFO Investigation Office, recently retired, went public and revealed the truth about UFOs. He says during his time investigating UFOs at the Pentagon, with top secret access to everything, he found no evidence of aliens flying around our skies. And he says a small group of religious UFO activists and conspiracists have spent years duping Congress with false and deceptive claims. Some of these religious UFO believers are now angry with Kirkpatrick, with many popular UFO celebrities lashing out with violent and warlike calls to arms. Kirkpatrick's statements support and validate exactly what the Post's Stephen Greenstreet has been reporting for the last 2 years. So I won't get into all those stories, but it's worth going back and revisiting those at some point. There's some sort of civil war happening. Oh, civil war! I know the show on Timcast Network. I said civil war. There should be balloons dropping now. But and do you see my colleagues last night on IRL? Did I say this in the beginning of the episode? I meant to. If I did and I forgot, I'll go back to it now. My colleagues just cannot accept that I don't accept the moon. I saw them last night. I saw you all on IRL last night saying the moon is real. And what did Phil say? Shane Cashman most affected. You guys, we can go back. Let's look at footage from scientists in the early 60s talking about how it's plasma. There's something there. I just don't think it's what they tell us it is. And I don't think we've been there. Or maybe we've gone in some capacity, but not what we've seen. And that goes back to what Alex Jones told me on InfoWars. His theory, and Alex has like some strange connections to the CIA and to NASA, and people could use that against them. But look, like everyone's got when you start doing investigative reporting or shows and you have guests, you are going to be bound to connect to someone who's not great or who will be used against you down the road to be like, see, he's connected to this person. Doesn't always mean that they're in cahoots, but it's worth bringing everything to the daylight, honestly. Anyway, he told me that someone he knew in NASA, he said this on the show. This is like June 2023. It was actually Kanye's birthday. It was less than a year after Kanye went on and said he loved Hitler. And here we are today, right before I clicked record. I found out that the Wireless Festival has been canceled due to Kanye. I mean, the man has come back, like I told you he would in 2022. Nothing could stop him. And if I were king, there are horses running towards me now. That might be a stampede. So if it's not a banshee that gets me, it's horses. I wish I could turn the camera, but I'm afraid I don't want to give away too much location here. This horse might come and try to stampede me. I'll sit right here. I've seen worse. I'm named after a cowboy, but they didn't do that on purpose. The name Shane is a book and a movie called Shane. You might hear my babies calling my name in the background. My parents gave me that name already. I was already named Shane, but this is what my parents tell me, and I believe them. They're not known to make things up or tell fibs, but in the room as my mother gave birth to me, the movie Shane came on the TV in the room. And maybe a doctor was like, oh, the baby's going to be named Shane. I don't know if they knew what my name was going to be. But that's the story. The movie Shane came on the TV as I entered the earth. But I was already named Shane. And it's a great movie if you haven't seen it. And so growing up, a lot of the older people who are very familiar with that movie would always quote it when they found out my name was Shane. Shane, come home, is what the little boy yells when the cowboy leaves. He like befriends a family, kind of like a wayward guy. I don't know what it's like to be wayward. This guy, this host of this show who's always in a different room, sometimes sits outside, sometimes has horses, sometimes has to watch out for being the victim of a horse stampede. But yeah, that's a funny little story. In a letter published in Scientific... Oh, yeah, I'm not done with you guys, though, my colleagues at IRL. We don't know what the moon is, okay? And I don't believe in this $1 billion humiliation ritual. You know what? I'm going to take this... That's right. I'm going to take this detour before I have to go see these baby goats. Can you imagine the kids' faces when they see baby... Baby goats are cute, man. I love baby goats. Let's see if I can... It's just everybody. Like Matt Walsh now, he is the schizophrenic crackhead. He's really unhappy with everyone who is a moon denier. Everyone's like, this is the greatest day ever. Da, 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 da. But I'm on to you, Matt Walsh. Let's see here. Where are you? I'm trying to put it up on my Twitter. By the way, my new book will be out September 1st. Good Villains. You can pre-order it right now. Thank you to everyone who pre-ordered already. As of me, right before I went to record, we were already in some new release bestseller lists on Amazon as a pre-order in different lists, depending where you go look. I was in the top 10. I was number 5, 12 in another. So it's listed there on the page. You can see that is on the Amazon page, but it's also available at Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Books A Million, all over the place. It'll be available everywhere, and it comes out September 1st. Right now, you can buy the digital, the Kindle edition. You can buy the hardcover, but we will have an audiobook as well. I am very stoked on this book. I am very proud of this book. I cannot wait to share it with everybody. But here's Matt Walsh, and I like Matt. And when he talks about war, I'm on board, dude. Like, I think he's really smart. We've done a few shows together, pre me being blacklisted at Daily Wire, even though I snuck back in during the election with Tim. I wasn't allowed to do any other of their shows there, just Tim's show. Everyone else got to do show. I don't really care because I really don't care about doing Daily Wire shows. And I thought it was funny to be there, but then I left early anyway because I can't stand Jeremy Boring. He was still there at that point. Ben Shapiro's voice in person is even worse than it is on the phone. But Jeremy Boring, that night of the election, 2024, just like, Elon Musk is the greatest living America. I'm like, dude, you stink. Just because you guys got the same hair plugs from the same place doesn't mean you have to like bend over backwards for this guy. But I've had nice conversations with Walsh. I like Walsh and knows a lot. Clavin, I think, is really smart. I did not like the show we did together. I like the show. I didn't, because I wish there was things I thought about saying that only dawned on me afterwards. I hate when that happens. But, with Clavin, this was the day after the election at Daily Wire on IRL. He talked about we should bring back public shaming. I'm like, yeah, that sounds fine with me. Let's public shame people. And then sometime after that, I was talking about how we need Nuremberg trials 2.0 for COVID, for warp speed, for lockdowns. And he was like, oh, why don't we should move on from that? But I think he's an interesting guy. I think he's really smart. But it's like most people at Daily Wire, they're really smart about a lot of things. But when it comes to the most important stuff, they're not that smart, to put it lightly. And but like Walsh is a genius. Like when he was putting out these anti-Iran war posts, I'm like, these are great posts. Solid posts. But Clavin didn't like my idea of holding people accountable for COVID, all the different things, and that includes everybody on all sides. And I wish I said that would be the public shaming we need to prevent that from happening again. Like, that is the ultimate public shaming. We should be promoting this. It didn't dawn on me until afterwards, so that's my bad. But Matt Walsh last night on my birthday. NASA attacking me directly, and Matt Walsh not really attacking me directly, but he knows. He knows. These are all Shane coded. If you read between the lines, these people hate that we think space is fake. But we don't buy it. We don't know what it is. Look, something's up there. You can get up pretty high. Infinite space, give me a break. The dorks, Matt Walsh says, who found reasons to be cynical and critical about this mission look dumber by the day. The whole thing has been so cool. The crew has been sharing the gospel the entire time. And now this moment, if you can't be inspired by this, you're dead inside. An empty vessel. Okay, don't project onto me what it feels like to be at the Daily Wire studio. And he's referencing, I don't know, the Nutella jar. What is he referencing here? The Artemis II crew named a lunar crater after Commander Reed Wiseman's late wife, Carol. What a beautiful and touching moment. Okay, I get it. They're trying to lay on the sentiment pretty hard. I don't buy it. So I responded, one of these astronauts, this is true, one of these astronauts said, this is like 2 days ago, when I read the Bible and I look at all the amazing things that were done for us, whoever created it. So that right there tells you, it undercuts Matt's whole thing about sharing the gospel. Like they're sharing the gospel to get you on board. Because like I've been saying for a long time on this show, the people, like the tech people, like at Peter Thiel, the NASA folks, they know their last obstacle is to get the dissidents and the Christians on their side. Because they're the last obstacle. They're the ones who still believe in objective reality and don't buy a lot of this crap. Now, a lot of them have. There's a lot of Christians with bad theology all over the place. But my goodness, they're sharing this stuff to ingratiate themselves onto you, to trick you. This is all part. Oh, what do you mean they don't want to trick you? You're telling me the CIA didn't spend all that money on illusions, and they just to stop at the sky? Space was always part of this illusion. It's all part of the narrative to get you detached from divinity. Seriously, I can't stress that enough. I don't know exactly what's up there. I'm not saying there's no moon, but whatever it is, it's not what they say it is. And I don't believe in all these silly numbers they come up with about billions of years. So when he says whoever created it, what gospel are you reading? What are you so proud of, Matt? If he wasn't so obsessed with space and hating on us dorks who are space fakers, the moon deniers, the crackhead schizophrenics, if he wasn't so focused on that, he would see that right there is a little trick in language, a spell they cast to get you on board, to get you to buy into, see, oh, they're reading the gospel. They're reading the gospel because it's performative, Matt Walsh. It's performative. Whoever created it, if you're reading the gospel, okay, maybe you could say they were reading from the Old Testament, and you can say whoever created it because they don't have a Messiah. The Jews, they're not talking about Muhammad. He said the Gospels. They're reading the Gospels. I saw the astronaut talk about this. He said whoever created it. So I just think that's funny. I think that Matt has been tricked into fawning over $1 billion DEI science cult that performs humiliation rituals while wearing diapers and worshiping false gods. Pathetic. Come on, Matt. He's too smart for this. He's way too smart for this. Goodness gracious. Where else was I? There was another thing in here I wanted to make sure I got in here before I saw some baby goats. Sorry, this one might be a little short today, guys. But I didn't want to not do one, and there's so much happening. I'm like, how is this even possible? They must know that I'm filming this show, and they want me to make sure I have something to talk about, which I appreciate. Okay, this was something that's interesting as well. Let me see if I get this volume up. So we're back to the conversation of tech, aliens, CIA Director John Ratcliffe. Let's see if we can get this. Okay.
At the President's direction, we deployed both human assets and exquisite technologies that no other intelligence service in the world possesses to a daunting challenge. If I ask you to speculate what could happen next based on the
exquisite technologies. Exquisite technologies. I mean, are we about to enter laser age, portal age? I remember having a conversation on culture war. Maybe it was on this show. We had Ashton Forbes on before he would castigate you. Is that the right word? I feel like I just made that word up, but it just fell out of the satellites into my brain. If you're too conspiratorial, you're allowed to think that a plane went through a portal or a wormhole that the government created, but don't question Charlie's assassination. All that stuff is so interesting to me. But I had a fine conversation with Ashton a long time ago on this show and on A Cultural War. But we talked about this idea that in the future, it is very possible that everyone could have access to some sort of antimatter weapon. Just like how we talked about the other day, my grandma, the computer, a whole computer taking up a giant room, a whole floor of a skyscraper, and now it's all in our phones, it's in our pockets. You apply that same sort of progress to technology, and eventually everyone can have their own CERN. Everyone could be smashing their own particles at nearly the speed of light and creating black holes to get rid of people. That space law is going to be jumping off then. Like when we got people creating black holes to take out other people, oh man, good times. But what did he mean by exquisite technologies? What do you think he means by exquisite technologies? Some people are taking that to be that he was reverse engineering alien technology or some other type of technology. I don't know. But I am fascinated. What are they going to do to Iran? Is something going to happen tonight? Has something already happened? And now you're having a completely different conversation. I don't know. But it seems so. But I do have to run and go see some baby goats right now. I know this is a shorter episode than usual. I hope you'll forgive me. But trying to enjoy this vacation while also trying to get some things off my chest. My colleagues who don't believe that I don't believe in the moon, alien technology allegedly, or ancient breakaway civilization technology allegedly, maybe being reverse engineered and turned into exquisite technology to take out a whole civilization. Are we communicating with aliens? Is it demons? I think it's demons. Is that why we're rebranding all of these things? This fake bird is really loud, but I appreciate you guys again. The best way to support this show is liking and subscribing, sharing. You can clip it. Commenting is always so appreciated. Best way to support me, you can pre-order my book. I'm also getting blown away by the wind right now, but my book is available right now for pre-order. Good Villains. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Walmart, everywhere. It's out on September 1st this year, and I'm going to be doing signings, readings, a lot more shows to promote it. It's going to mean a lot, and I am very proud. So you guys have already been pre-ordering it. It's incredible. We're on some bestseller new release lists already on Amazon. That means a whole lot to me. I am very proud of this book, and it's like my Kanye stories, a lot more aspects to that whole thing up until like recent kind of time. So spans a few years of my life, and a lot of wild people show up. So more on that soon, but it's available now. So please do pick up a copy, and it would mean a lot. Your support means a lot. Thank you guys for tuning in. Apologies for the short episode, but I'll be back. I should be having another one up tomorrow, and hopefully we're still here. Things are getting crazy. It might all just be talk, and I hope that's the case. I do. I don't like this talk, but I hope that's the case. I really don't want to see innocent people die. Please do say a prayer for everybody. Yourselves, your families, our families, people we don't know who are innocent, men, women, and children. And a prayer to soften Trump's heart. Even a prayer to soften Netanyahu's heart. The people of Iran, the leaders of Iran, this Ayatollah who's gay allegedly and in a coma. Let's pray for everybody. I believe in radical redemption, and that's a big part of my book. And my talks with Kanye is this idea of radical redemption. I do believe that. That is what Christ did for us. And I believe in extending that grace. Now, I have that line where I can't extend that grace to people who hurt kids. That's on God. That's where I draw my line. I can't. Those people need to be taken away from civilization. I don't believe in the death penalty, but they need to be removed from polite society and put somewhere else. The horse's lead shank just fell to the ground. But, it's a butterfly. I hope you saw that. Maybe it was behind me. Pretty little butterfly. But thank you guys. Please, let's say our prayers. Everything is getting crazy and amazing and beautiful and chaotic. And there's a lot of weird, crazy things being said. But that's 2026 for you. And that's human nature. And I hope you appreciated this outside episode. It felt good to be outside. And thank you guys. I will see you later.